My next guest is currently starring in the two-part Agatha Christie drama The Pale Horse, which finishes up this Sunday. Well, Rufus Sewell joins me now from Los Angeles. Congratulations. I so enjoyed the first episode. I was unsettled.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to unsettle you.
I'm very happy to be unsettled because there's all this sort of supernatural element and the three witches and all of that. And it's quite spooky.
Yeah, it's quite unusual for an Agatha Christie too. It's not really the kind of thing she's normally associated with, but she wrote it when Dennis Wheatley was very popular in the 1960s, and it's got a very different vibe for her, so it's quite unfamiliar, I think.
No, that's true, you're right. Oh, I remember my aunts used to read Dennis Wheatley novels, and I always thought, oh, that was the height of sophistication. Now, attention to detail is extraordinary. You know, from the costumes to the sets to that amazing car. Everything about it is totally authentic. Yeah,
well, I mean, what was fun was, you know, being in that period. I've done that period before, but not in England. And to drive that beautiful old Lagonda was fabulous. A bit too much fun, actually.
I know. You'd want one of them for yourself. They're amazing, aren't they? He's a complex. Quite afford it, so he's a complex character, isn't he?
Yes, he's very complex. He's someone who, you know, he's all about the way it looks on the outside. So, you know, got that beautiful car and the suits and the cufflinks and the women in his life and the antiques. It's all about making it look as cool and as, you know, collected and sophisticated on the outside, because inside he's kind of tortured. He's had this terrible thing happened and he hasn't really dealt with it. He's just kind of bottled it up. And that can make people quite volcanic, I think.
Yes, absolutely, and likely to do unexpected things. I mean, we're going to see the second part on Sunday, and things get even worse for him. We're going to find out some more secrets as well. Don't tell us anything, but it is actually going to get really, really quick. You'll be backing away, I think, from the TV.
Yeah, I think it takes a pretty surprising twist. I mean, when I was reading it, when I got to the end, I actually had to stop and then go back 10 pages and read it again, because I wasn't quite sure if I'd read what I just read. It really does take a surprising twist. As I said, it's not really like the Agatha Christies that we know.
Now, look, you are talking to us from La La Land, and of course, the lady that you starred with in Judy, Renee Zellweger, won an Oscar just a few days ago.
Yes.
But you said she would, because you played her husband, of course, Sid Luft. But when you saw her and you saw the performance, when you watched her, you just thought to yourself, that's it, she's got it in the bag?
Well, to tell you the truth, I had an inkling she would when I read the script. I got the script and I knew that she was attached, and it was very exciting to read because it was such a great story, but also just the combination of knowing that Renee Zellweger was going to be playing it. I had this sense, and then of course I turned up and I got to work with her, and then I didn't want to say it out loud, I didn't want to jinx it for her.
Sure.
But yes, has always been my feeling that this would happen. You know,
oh, it was a brilliant film, a really brilliant film. I thought she did her she did her proud. She did her so well. She really did. Yeah. And for you, Los Angeles is home. Do you sort of bounce backwards and forwards?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I came here with a job many years ago, and I stayed because I met someone, and it wasn't really a career thing. But since then, since I've been in Los Angeles, I've worked more in England than I did when I lived there. So I'm always going back and forth. I never really have to miss it much.
It's lovely, actually, to have that, isn't it? To have that both. Yeah,
it can be a little bit confusing sometimes. You know, I mean, I was in London a couple of weeks ago, and I will be again pretty soon.
Oh, good.
Half of my work is in England.
Yeah, that's you got the best of both worlds. That sounds fantastic. You are.
Well, I never work here. This is where I get the jobs by being here. So if I have meetings here, they're on Skype, and I pretend I'm in London anyway.
That's mad, isn't it? That is crazy, because there was always the perception that you had to be in Los Angeles in order, because that's where it all happens. But I guess everybody's filming all over the world now, aren't they? Because a lot of your jobs are all
now. But you know, as I said, it's not really for business that I'm here. You know, it's quite a nice place to live. But for me, it feels very glamorous coming back to England to work. That's the exciting bit for me.
I love that. I like that. That sounds good. You are such a fantastic baddie. You are, I mean, I remember in A Knight's Tale, that's one of my favourite films, and you were such a good baddie. Surely they must have asked you to be a Bond baddie, for goodness sake. They must.
No, not yet.
Come on.
Not yet. Well, the good thing about being a Bond baddie, it doesn't matter how old you are. So, you know, I'm not too old to be a Bond baddie. and hopefully I've got a few years in me of potential. I always thought maybe I could be a 008.5 or a Bond baddie or something. I always saw myself more that kind of way. And you know, the clock isn't ticking quite so far. Well, it's already ticked way too fast for Bond. But
do you think?
But for bad guys, oh yeah, as I said, I'm about the right age to do my final Bond, but not my first one. And anyway, it was never really my bag anyway. I always thought of myself as more the kind of Bond baddie, or you know, or kind of whatever. But just it's not really the way I saw myself.
Well, I could see you in that. The thing about you is, although people say, oh, yes, you do play a good baddie, when you think of the roles that you played, I mean, you've been Alexander Hamilton, not the musical, although I'm sure you could do that. We saw you in Victoria as Lord Melbourne. I mean, you've been a vampire.
He wasn't a baddie.
I mean, no, he wasn't a baddie. I'm just saying that's what I mean. You've been all these so many different roles. You can't really pigeonhole you. And you've also been a fantastic vampire. So, you know, you do so many things.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, I do what I can. For me, the fun is always doing different stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I used to worry about playing too many baddies or doing too much period stuff. I don't really care about that anymore. No. Just as long as I have fun.
That's, well, what a lovely way to end this chat with you. As long as you have fun. An absolute joy to talk to you. Thank you so much,
Lovely
Rufus.
to talk to you, Lorraine.
Thank you very much. Next time you're over here, come in and see us. You've got an open invite.
Definitely.
Thank you.